Well, in 2019, Subpod launched as a three-in-one compost system, worm farm and garden bed. It sparked a global movement along the way. With success and profitability, the company is now building a balcony composter. Guess what? It's got IoT sensors and app integrated a gardening platform. Subpod's Saadi, Allan and Phil Johnson join me now to tell us more. Guys, is this the end of killing your plants at home, when you love them to death? Is the IoT going to be the solution? Tell us about this amazing idea.
Sure. Well, what we think actually is that the IoT system really is working with nature. Nature's done 4.8 billion years worth of R&D on how to effectively turn waste byproducts into healthy soil, and the work that we're doing with technology is to really help people in their modern lives to work with nature, and Phil's been key in developing those systems. And we're working both at the balcony scale, but also right up to large commercial systems. So it's an interesting time.
It's always been a goal for us to make composting simple, and really to get people to want to take on this extra task. We have to make it, extremely simple, easy to do. And one of the knock-on effects that kind of gets people really excited is the fact that once you get your Subpod going, the soil becomes extremely fertile and things just start to grow. And I think that gets people's attention. It starts to show them that they can grow food. And so the IoT really is just a carry on from what we see happening in nature, in that as you learn about soil and soil nutrients, you start to see things growing. So then all we're really doing is just trying to supplement a busy schedule with some technology that allows people to be able to take off on holiday, make sure that the plants get watered, that they have a little bit of a checkup on the health of the system, and that they're aware of what's going on. So if they have a little reminder, or just ask the question, would you like to water? You can say yes or no, and away you go. So that's really what it's all about, is just taking time for people that really are on board to do something great for the planet, and just give them some extra resources and tools to sort of fuel that appetite for growing food. Particularly these days, a lot of people are more conscientious about what they're eating, but more than that, with some of the shortages and stuff, I think everyone understands the importance of growing a little bit of your own food at home.
So tell us a little bit about this campaign, the cash you're looking for and the plans for it.
Sure. So at the moment we're still in the EOI phase. We're hoping to raise between $500,000 and $900,000 via Birchall. And what we're really looking to do, we've been focusing on over the last 18 months on refining our operating model and profitability, and building out these new suite of products. So the cash will be used to launch some of these new products into the market, and also to meet our global demand. We've been global from day one, being a crowdfunded company. We started with product-based crowdfunding on Indiegogo and Kickstarter. So we have customers already in 26 countries. US is our biggest market at the moment by far, and there's further demand there to meet, plus demand across Asia and Europe as well. So that's really where the funds are going to go, is just help us to scale the business, continue scaling internationally, and release these new products that customers are waiting for.
Guys, you've had this incredible success over the last 3 years. I think nearly $16 million in sales, more than 55,000 Subpods sold along the way. You have this global community engaged. When I look at your pedigree, both as startup founders and entrepreneurs, of course, there's Koala in there, there's Flowhive. I remember that extraordinary campaign many years ago. This is certainly not your first rodeo, but are you nonetheless surprised by the success of Subpod over the last couple of years?
Look, I'm not surprised. Really, the whole idea behind Subpod was taking a need we saw out there in the world that wasn't being met, which was to make composting and growing really incredibly accessible, and then put around it a set of support and educational materials and a community that really would allow people with their very busy lives to feel confident to start this process. Everyone wants to be doing their part to make the world a little bit better. Composting your food waste is one of the most impactful things you can do personally, because of the heating effect of methane, which is up to 20 times more powerful than CO2. So the demand is out there for people to be able to be doing something tangible. And so that's really what we try to do here at Subpod is unlock those good intentions and turn them into a tangible action rather than signing a petition online or something. It's something you can do in your everyday life. So it's something I've seen throughout my career, and it doesn't surprise me that I see that we'll be growing much bigger over the coming years because of that demand.
Phil, as head of product, tell us a little bit about the customer feedback. I mean, I go out and say hello to my worms every couple of days with the compost bin from inside the house. But then, of course, I have to mess around with that and tip it into the garden eventually. And it is kind of painful. It's a little bit like that flow hive experience, I also think, Saadi, in terms of you've taken the mess out of the experience along the way and just left the pleasure.
Yeah, look, I mean, that's really, we're lucky to have this fantastic community around us, and we get a lot of feedback. We use that feedback to constantly improve our products. So we're pretty agile as a company goes. Even though we're a startup, we have a lot of resources on the product development side of things. And we sort of don't wait a whole season often to make a change or to make adjustments in product. We pretty much have a philosophy that when we know that there can be something improved, we simply do it. And we launch it as soon as we can. And that's been a continual effort on our part on the product development side of things. When we started with Classic, right away we had people asking for something a little bit smaller. So we came back with Subpod Mini. And then obviously we had a lot of people that just didn't have the garden space. So we've come out with Modbed. And yeah, it really is a customer-centric company. I think really, the secret sauce around Subpod has been our commitment to the customer journey and to making sure that there's lots of support. So that's really, I think, the main focus that we have is that we could have grown probably a little bit quicker, but we really wanted to make sure that we took everyone along the journey. We wanted to make sure the customer support was there to maintain a really high standard when it comes to customer needs and instruction, videos, all that sort of stuff is really, I think, what makes the product a bit special, is that there's lots of support to ensure that for us, it's integral that everyone has success. And once they get on board with that, they're actually advocates there helping us to sell more products and to get more people composting. So that's really our philosophy, is just to make sure everyone comes along and helps us tell our story and teaches each other how this all works.
Now, of course, people can go onto virtual.com for the Subpod Expressions of Interest campaign. But if anyone's so inspired that they want to give it a crack, where can they get a hold of a Subpod?
So the best place in Australia is subpod.com.au. If we have people tuning in from America.com is the place to go as well, but subpod.com.au for most of the audience.
All right, well, Saadi, Phil, great to have you on the show today. All the best with the virtual campaign, and I have to give it a crack sometime soon. It'd be nice to let the worms look after themselves from now on. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.